Hello, this is another episode of Maybe I'm Rambling, and we have this guy who has, let's face it, a bit of common sense, which is a bit rare to come by these days. Look at this guy; he ain't so bad. I mean, he's only saying that if a person illegally kills someone, he shouldn't keep his license. How hard, man? How man? That is smart, man. That is smart. That's genius. That is genius. Sarcasm aside, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo wants to close loopholes allowing cops to keep credentials after being fired for misconduct. When it comes to the subject of police misconduct, one thing we don't talk about enough is how often cops are able to get fired from one job only to go to another department and get hired again. On Sunday, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo made it clear that he's looking to close bureaucratic loopholes in his state that allows for police officers to hold on to their credentials after losing their jobs due to the behavior while performing their duties. ABC 10 reports that during a news briefing, Cuomo expressed concerns over the phone that cops are allowed to continue being cops as being fired because the credentials don't reflect the records of misdeeds. These can be these bureaucratic contrivances and loopholes that, well, he wasn't fired for cause. He was allowed to resign, therefore he could be a police officer somewhere else, Cuomo said. ABC reports. If a police officer is not qualified or does not perform to the standards of one police agency, that doesn't mean you take a person to who acted unprofessionally and you let them go work in a different police department. That doesn't work for the people of the state. Cuomo cited a story published by the Times Union Sunday covering a former East Greenbush police officer who was allowed to keep his law enforcement certification, even after being accused of making inappropriate sexual advances toward women he met while on duty. Wow, what a champ. In that case, police records show that the officer had sex with the woman in his police car hours after he arrested her for shoplifting. From Times Union. The case exposes loopholes that remain 4 years after the state amended its police certification regulations to prevent officers who are under investigation for misconduct, including potential criminal charges, from resigning or retiring from a department and avoiding a disciplinary investigation so they can seek employment at another law enforcement agency. In the shoplifting incident, the 33-year-old former officer Matthew C. Wild was alleged to have had a sexually charged conversation with the woman as he drove her to the police department following her June 2017 arrest at a Walmart. After she was processed at the police station and given a appearance ticket, he drove the woman back to her vehicle in the Walmart. Along the way, he sat in the front seat of his patrol car and Will allegedly put his hands down her pants and fondled her during the ride. Oh my goodness. According to police records obtained by the Times Union under a Freedom of Information law request, Will contacted the woman later that night and they met behind the Holiday Inn while he was in uniform and still on duty. They allegedly had sex in and on the hood of his patrol car as he had promised they were earlier that day during her arrest. And you wonder why people don't trust the cops these days. According to the report, Will also was caught hitting on a 17-year-old. Oh, he's a pedophile too. Wow. He met during a traffic stop by sending inappropriate messages on Facebook. The internal investigations into Will conduct was never made public, and the misconduct allegations were never forwarded to the district attorney's office for review. Fortunately, Will hasn't got another job in the force, but because he was able to retain his credentials, he reportedly sought employment with at least four other police departments after he resigned from the East Greenbush Police Department. So yeah, maybe Quinn was up to something here. I was making proposals, Cuomo said to the conference, according to ABC. I want the people of this state to know trust is a two-way street. And the police should trust the community, and the community should trust the police, and the conditions exist for both of them to do it. If there's a bad cop, that bad cop should no longer be a police officer. A bad cop does a disservice to 99.9% of good cops, and make sure that happens. Yeah, the number's a bit bloated. With that being said, while I don't really despise the police per se, and their system is a necessary system for everyone's survival. Well, why I say that, I'm not a guy who condones the killings made by the police, but I know that the police, they are trained to use lethal force first, rather than just rather to defuse the situation before it gets bad. And it's officers like Wield that makes everyone not trust the police. It's not 99% of the cops who are on the force right now that are good cops. Because a lot of these cops, they're in a lot of the stuff that they bust you for. Because power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. What was it? President Abraham Lincoln said, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, but he said, if you give a man power, you will see what's in him, or something like that. I forgot exactly what he said, but it applies wholesale to a lot of the police department. Man, and put your comments in the comment section so I may see your thoughts. And this is another episode of Maybe I'm Rambling. Goodbye.